think in my organisation, we feel that compassionate and inclusive leadership is really important. It works. We can see that it works. And I think the way that we try to promote it is by being very honest, open, transparent, admitting when we're wrong, asking for feedback and being able to cope with whatever we hear. So those are the sorts of things that are really important to me. So I think the feedback that we get is quite positive. And I think on the whole, people are very brave and able to speak up. However, we do know that for some people that's still quite difficult. And we know that it's not consistent throughout the organisation. So I might feel that way, but for some of the managers, they might not be able to deal with it in a way. So we make sure that we have staff networks, we have freedom to speak up, we have lots of other ways of listening and getting information from people. And then we hope that by the responses and the way we react to what people say, increasingly our staff will feel more confident about being open and honest with us. Great. We have made a concerted effort from the board. So my chair, non-executive directors, our governors are really keen and prioritise the culture and values and behaviours of the organisation. In many ways, it takes up more time in our board than talking about finance, so for example. Secondly, strong patient and service user involvement. You cannot ignore your behaviour when patients are sitting in the room with you talking about how you do things. So I think that's been really, really helpful to us. And the third thing, I think, is using an improvement methodology of testing change ideas, acknowledging that there's always room for improvement. And in order for change to work, it's always about behaviour. I mean, there's something about systems, and you can have better IT, and you can have better, referral processes and all that. But it's about people and the way they behave. And because you use a methodology, there's less likelihood to sort of revert to blame because it's a shared problem and we have to find shared solutions. So I personally like breaking rules, and I think that helps when you're leading an organisation. We realise that we have lots and lots of rules. They sort of seem to pop up. I don't know how. They sort of have a life of their own. Suddenly there's a policy for this or a rule for that, and when you look into it, you don't really know where it came from. So we do this sporadically every little while. We ask our staff, what rules, processes, procedures, but rules, do we have in this organisation that just don't make sense, that get in the way? And people come up with a whole list. And we realised, we did it a few years ago, it's not a one-off thing because they seem to appear again. So we do it sort of, periodically from time to time. And just give permission to people to stop doing things that are of little or no value. It does require a considerable degree of trust that people know not to do anything dangerous. The big focus for me and my executive team and all of our leaders is about working in systems. So our trust strategy has changed. It's moved to looking much more outwards about our mission is improving the quality of life for all we serve, the communities we serve. So that puts us firmly in the community as opposed to a provider of healthcare. And we can tick the boxes when our outcomes are, but what is the person's quality of life? So we therefore have to change the way we work because our old way doesn't fit necessarily with that. And that's across the whole organisation. So that's one of the things for me in terms of the leadership for the future. So I'm involved in the crafting of the people plan. And I think that we've got the interim people plan. We have an ambition to produce something. We're consulting at the moment. We're working on the next iteration of the people plan. We have some ambitions about what we think we can achieve in the next year, what we should do going forward. My particular focus is on making the NHS the best place to work. Other colleagues are working on things like skills, training, numbers, predicting the numbers of doctors we need and all of that. But for me, it's what can we do now to make the NHS the best place to work, because I actually firmly believe it's in our gift and in our control, 1.3 million of us, to do quite a lot with what we've currently got in order to make significant changes towards improving improving the sort of conditions that we work in. And I think that will go a long way to solving the sort of retention issues, because of the number of people that are leaving because of, you know, the working environment, or we make it very difficult for people to stay. So I think if we tackle that, we go quite a long way. I look for can-do people, and the more can-do people there are, and we don't have to be really ambitious for massive change. I'm talking about can-do for small change that then has a knock-on effect, and we've seen that. That's how QI works. That's how improvement works. And you know, you can sustain an improvement, you can spread it, and it empowers the people to make the change. So that's what I'm looking for.